Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of the Dope Black Chick Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in to another week as we strive to unleash your dopeness. I am your host, Kimberly Isis Thomas, the creator and founder of IHearThatGirl.com, an empowerment lifestyle site for Black women. So, whenever you get a chance, head on over there and check out the amazing content that we have for you. It's always positive and inspiring information about, for, and by Black women. Um, Also, I want to do a little house cleaning real quick. The past few weeks, I have been dealing with a serious head cold. So, head colds, they actually still happen. Can you believe it? Yes, they actually do still take place. And I was shocked because everybody's so focused on COVID. So I kind of feel like I was caught off guard because, like, who's checking for a cold? Well, it was checking for me. And yeah, so I'm actually coming out on the good side of it now. But that cold, bruh, I forgot what a cold was like. I forgot how to treat a cold. I forgot how to deal with a cold. Now, we've learned so much about dealing with COVID, but anyway, I digress. So, with that said, let's get into this week's episode. Now, I have all of these revelations that I write down, guys. You know that. I say that every week. And so I'm just going to give you one that I had a few weeks ago. I haven't, presented it to you guys yet, but here you go. So this one here is a revelation that came to me kind of, I've been on this personal growth journey now for about 2 years. And it's always amazing to see how much growth has taken place in my life since I started this journey. I like to look back at my journals a lot. I like to read where I was when I decided to start. To really learn myself and know myself. I apologize for the clearing up the throat, guys, but I will get more and more stuffy as we go along. Um, so as I read back in my journals and I see, the things that I was trying to learn about myself and the revelations I was getting then, and then to see the manifestation of intentional action, intentional work. That is one of the things that spurs me so much in this group that I have, which is Confidently Dope. It's a Confidently Dope coaching group. I have a coaching group that is available. We're going to be closing the doors at the end of this year because this group, it is a cohort and it is a year-long program. It's the self-work, it's the professional growth work, right? And so it's a limited number of slides. I have no more than 10 women in this group. But we do like the hard self-work, the same self-work that I've been discussing with you guys over the past couple years on the Dope Black Chick podcast, all takes place in this group. So this is very intensive work, and it's for women who seriously want to get it done. They don't want to keep procrastinating about it. They know it's difficult and they don't really know how to guide themselves, so they'd appreciate someone who's been there and done that. And so that's what we do each week in the Confidently Dope group. So when I read back in my journals, I'm like, wow, like, man, I did the work and it was hard work. Can you imagine 2 years of work? Can you imagine that? um, if if I was told 2 years ago that doing this personal growth work would take as long as it did, or that it's an ongoing process, a continuous process. But just to know what was here, yeah, I would have been gung ho. But there were times when it was like hard. And the self work is really hard because you have to face yourself. But the number one thing that you have to do is be willing to do the work, right? So I say all that to say that once you've done the work, what you notice is that you get so much more in the way of continuous knowledge and continuous education and continuous revelation. Because now you've opened the door to learning new things, to accepting and allowing new revelations in, to accepting and allowing yourself to open up and to know more, right? And to gain that knowledge and wisdom. So, with that, I was sitting outside. I have a certain respect for spiders. Okay. Now, I don't like bugs at all. Don't get it twisted. But I do have a certain respect for a couple of bugs. It's the ants and the spiders. And you may be saying, why ants and spiders? Because they mind their own business. They stay out of mind, ants and spiders, they are really focused on their work, and they're doing their thing. They're not really annoying you. They're not in your pathway. They try to stay clear of you. Usually ants are far away from us. But they got their own little pathway. As long as you not in their pathway, they find spiders are in the corners and stuff. Like, you barely ever gonna just see a spider hanging out on your bed. Like, that's not what's that's not what's really going on. So with ants and spiders, I kind of have a certain respect for them, because I'm like, they are here to do their work and they're not concerned about what's going on. Now, you may be saying, Isis, the other bugs don't care about you either. You may say that, but I don't believe it. I believe they fly around and buzz around you, and they get all in your face because they know you're there, and they just want to do it. That's my personal opinion. Y'all don't have to go with that, but I'm going somewhere with this, okay? So anyway, I have a personal, certain respect for them. And the other day, I was sitting in my office, looking outside my window, really trying to take in the changing of the leaves, the colors of the leaves, and seeing them, kind of fall off the trees and the wind blowing. I just love to take in that nature, especially when I'm having my morning coffee. And so I'm sitting there, and I noticed this huge, elaborate, intricate spider web outside the window, right? And it's up, I'm on the second floor, so I'm like, it's this beautiful spider web. And I see the spider, she's sitting in the middle. Now, the reason I say she, I don't even know if there are male spiders. I assume so. I'm not 100%. But what I do know is they should have never taught me about Charlotte's Web. And so from then on, all spiders have become female. And yeah, so I say she. Back to the story. So I see her sitting in the middle of this intricate, beautiful web, right? And she's just sitting there. Just sitting. Not moving around. I was like, is she dead? She's not. She's just chilling, right? And that made me think. Like, she's just sitting there waiting for, what she made the web for to produce its results. Like, she knows that she doesn't have to chase. She'll attract or catch. And she'll just wait until her meal appears. Right? Because she did the work. That was revelation number 1. She did the work. She built her web. She did what she knew how to do. And then she waits. I don't chase. I attract. And she knows that it's coming to her. We get like that. Like, right? We have the ability to do things, and we'll do the work. And then once we're done doing the work, it's that moment of we want that gratification so quickly that we're not willing to wait. We start chasing the gratification. We start trying to figure out how we can make the gratification come to us. But you already did the work. That's how the gratification comes. You have to allow it. You sit there and you wait. Because you know what you created will attract it. And that was the number 1 revelation I got from her. I don't chase. I attract. She's chilling in the middle of this web. And so then that made me think, because I go deep. Y'all know I go deep. So immediately I was like, oh, that's deep. You know, I was like, dang, Sister Spider is preaching. Y'all know I'm always thinking somebody's preaching. But I said, let me find out some more about this web on the second floor hanging in the middle of the sky, because that's what it looks like, right? So I started researching, like, how does she build her web? How does the spider build her web? I'm looking down in my notes. And what I learned is they have different types of silk, right? This one little spider can produce different types of silk depending on the conditions that she's building her web in. So if she needs it to bend a little bit more, she uses a lighter silk. If she needs it to be stronger, since she's on the second floor, I'm pretty sure she needs some strength, then she uses stronger silk. But at the end of the day, she uses different types of silk depending on the conditions in which she is building her web. And that made me think, like, different skills, man. We have different skills. We have different levels of energy. And we have different friends in our circle depending on the conditions. Depending on the conditions you're in, you need to utilize some different skills, some different energy, some different people around you. Have you thought about that when you're building what you're trying to build? Whatever that goal is, even if it's a business, whatever it is, you may need to utilize a different type of energy, a different skill set, and a different group of people need to be around you based on the conditions, based on what you're trying to bring about. Sometimes we have to consider that. So that's revelation number 2 from Sister Spider. Then I read on and I saw that she uses the wind to connect the silk. Mind you, I was on the second floor of the house and it seemed like this freaking web was hanging in the sky, right? There's no trees near. So I was like, how did she get this web up here? And I read that they use the wind to connect the web. So she may have attached one part to the house and then she'll throw her web out, right? She'll throw the silk out and let the wind blow it to a tree. And once it's connected, she go over to that side and she do it again until it's strong enough to maintain. Doesn't matter how far, but she uses the wind to connect the web to her foundation, right? That's how she starts out. So she can build it anywhere. Ooh, that hit me right there. She can build it anywhere. And I have to remember that because I know when, I'm getting off track, but I know when I have this attachment to my past life and I remember the person I was back then, I was so capable of, I built a really big thing, you know, a big life for myself. And then just now I was reminded you can build it anywhere. Doesn't matter where you are. Doesn't matter what situation you're in. You can build it anywhere. And here's the third revelation that I got from Sister Spider. Now I'm coming back. Is that tough conditions can actually be used to connect you to your goal. Tough conditions can actually be used to connect you to your goal. Because you would think that the wind would cause Sister Spider to be like, gosh, man, they keep blowing down my web, right? Because we can easily throw our hand through the web and it's gone. So imagine if the wind is blowing, you would be thinking, oh my gosh, my house is going to be blown out. But those tough conditions, you can actually use that tough condition to connect you to your goal. So now, in retrospect, I'm going to use myself again because y'all know that's what I do on this show. I'm very transparent. You know, the tough conditions of my divorce, the tough conditions of uprooting my life, the tough conditions of rebuilding a life, right, can connect me to my real goal, right? It has made me, I think about it now and I'm like, geez, I it's made me so much more persistent. It's made me so much more wiser. Those tough conditions have created the person you guys see and hear on this show every week. So the tough conditions can connect you to your goal. Oh my, that's preaching. I'm still getting stuff. This happened weeks ago. And I'm still getting revelations out of this. I hope this is good for y'all as it is for me. So that's revelation number 3. Then number four was I learned that, the spider is not taught how. They don't raise, once those eggs hatch, they're not teaching them like, hey, this how you do, this how you make a web. They don't do all that. So they're not even taught how to do this thing, this elaborate, intricate thing that they do. They're not taught it. It's an innate ability. It's an innate knowing. It's a capability that is born of purpose, of the reason that I'm here. I just do it, right? And so they're not taught that. And the same thing is for you. We are creators. So what is it that you have an innate ability in? What is it that, you do without thinking or considering? What is it that you're capable of without education or anything? You just know how to do it. You're really good at it. What is that thing? What is it? I've always been super observant. I've always been the person that speaks up. I've always been the person that asks questions and question everything. And I've always been a thought leader. I just have. I study thoughts. I want to expound on thoughts. And I've always been that. And guess what I do? That's what I do. I express my thoughts. And I use those thoughts to create a life for myself. I use those thoughts and I use that ability to question thoughts, to coach and guide people and counsel people in their businesses, in their personal growth, to help them learn to question themselves and ask questions for themselves. So I've been guided by an innate ability to think deeper. And, sometimes we think that the gift that we have is like, a job position. And it's not like, and I think when we do that, we limit ourselves. We actually are trying to put our gift into a job description. Your gift can be so many different ways. Because think about it. Thought leaders can be authors. I'm that. Thought leaders can be speakers. Thought leaders can be podcast and radio hosts. Thought leaders can be coaches, life coaches, therapists. Thought leaders can be activists. Thought leaders can be so many things. So you have to find out what is that thing that is an innate ability of yours. Something that you're going to do regardless. And that no one's ever pulled you to the side and say, hey, this is how you study things and this is how you figure it out. Nobody's ever done that, but you just have that ability. And not only, the ability, but the ability to share it with others. What is that thing? So that was the fourth revelation from Sister Spider. And the final one that I learned. So what I learned is they make new webs every day. I was like, she did all this work, and it only takes a couple hours for them to create these things. But she makes a new one every day. And I was like, well, why would you do all of that and then turn around and make a new one? What's the sensibility in that? So I read that they do that for safety reasons. Because if, because they have, I don't want to say they have, what is it, prey? They have, what do you call it when people are attacking you? I can't remember, but they have people, not people, but they have A predator. That's it. They have a predator. And Sister Spider's predator is like hornets, wasps, because they will eat them. And so in order not to be found out or not to be caught, she moves it. It's like, I'll get it overnight, and she does it in the evening so she can catch things overnight. They can't see you as well overnight. Catch things overnight, and I'm out the next day. Because if they do find out it's here, they'll come back, and then they'll get me, right? So it's self-preservation as the reason why she creates a new web every day. What did I get from that? It's unsafe to be complacent. That's why she's moving her web. It's just not safe for me to stay in the same place. And it ain't safe for you to stay in the same place. You take those same gifts, you take that same talent, but you go somewhere else with it. You move with it. You grow with it. You don't stay in the same place because it's not safe. Staying complacent is not safe. It's just not. And you could think, well, what if she's getting a lot of, catches in the night? That's a good prime place. She's not worried about that. See, we have a fear that the next place we're going to go is going to lack. Why are you thinking in lack? Sister Spider's not thinking in lack. They're not thinking about lack. She's just thinking about, if I stay in the same place, I'll be complacent. It's not going to be safe for me. So no matter how good the bounty is feeling at that moment, you feel like, well, I'm doing good enough. I've hit that measurement. Get the moving. Stay moving. Stay moving forward. Continuously try to learn something. When you've learned and you've succeeded, continue to try to learn. Continue to try to grow. Continue to elevate yourself and evolve. Don't be afraid to try new terrains in your life, because the thing that you think you could be lacking, you are going to lack because you stayed still, because you stayed in that place, because you stayed in a place of fear. Don't be afraid to try new terrains. And that, all of this, is what I learned from looking at a spider web. I'm telling y'all, it's so... The entire universe is teaching us day by day by day. The lessons are there, but it's all about allowing yourself to receive those lessons, to receive those messages. The universe wants you to win. God wants you to win. Wants you to see your prosperity. You were born into a place of prosperity. Like, we only have lack because we're manifesting it in our thoughts. We think we're lacking. We're afraid, and fears are brought on by this society. But in actuality, fears are lies. Because everything you need, you already have, as we see in the spider. So I just want you to take that thought with you throughout the day. Sometimes people say, well, if I think about the bird, if God provides for the bird, he'll provide for me. Think about the spider. If she can build and survive, so can you. You can build. I don't care what you're coming back from. That's why this message is good for me. I don't care what it is that you felt like defeated you. You can build anywhere, sis. You can build and stop trying to rebuild your life. Sister Spider's not trying to rebuild the web. She's just building a new one. That's another one. That's number 5. Maybe that's 6. But that's another one. Don't try to rebuild the web. Build a new one. Build a new one for who you are in that moment, for the conditions that are around you. Build a new one. Every experience is a new one. And don't be afraid to try new terrains. I hope that this message resonates with you and that it is something that motivates you to be your dopest self yet. Okay? We're constantly evolving, and I want you to evolve into a seriously, confidently dope woman. Okay? So, hey guys, I want you to do me a favor. If this show resonates with you, Make sure that you leave me a great review on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. You can leave me a voice note and let me know how you enjoyed it. Please be sure to share the show with your friends, family, on your Facebook feeds, or, even on your Twitter, or what is the other one? Instagram. There's so many social feeds. But yeah, tell someone about the Dope Black Chick podcast. Let them know there's a dope black chick talking dope black spit. Follow us on YouTube, and you can find me on Instagram at Isis_Thomas. Until next time, y'all know the vibes. Peace and blessings.